Hey guys, Tbull here. Today we got a game in the Amagi for you. I haven't seen this ship for a little while. Takagi on the screen, there's the build. Going to be talking about what are we actually trying to do in Battleships this game. It's not the flashiest game, but it's an effective game, and we definitely contribute to the win. Okay, so we got Shards Domination mode. Briefly, instead of thinking, okay, my job is to sit in the back lobbing shells at battleships that are downrange and they're pointing directly at me, so we're not going to be doing much damage. We need to be thinking more in terms of positioning. You got to be taking a look at the map here, and you need to be kind of viewing this game as a battleship player. Now, the battleship is kind of the easiest class to develop this mentality with, because you, in general, have roughly 30 seconds in between shots on most of these. So you have time to force yourself to practice looking at the map as much as possible. You want to be doing it at least once in between shots, but as you develop your map awareness skills, you want to be spending more and more time throughout the battle actually looking at the map and then kind of glancing at the action on the screen and doing, lining up shots or angling your armor or whatever you need to be doing. But you can also angle just by looking at the map as well. So where are we going to try and position ourselves? Well, we're going to view our main role in a lot of matches as kind of area denial. We're kind of the big threat, kind of saying to the opponent, okay, you want to try this. Well, if you do, you're going to risk ending your game immediately. Okay, now if we position in between A and B with the ability to cover both of those caps, now what we're able to do is harass these guys when they move laterally. Okay, we got the York moving. He's coming roughly towards us, maybe at a 45-degree angle, but he's attempting to move westward. Okay, now we hit him there, 5,000. We want to prevent him from moving in the cap. You can see our Fletcher on the screen there. He's got the island behind him, so he's going to have a hard time disengaging. Fletcher moving at him, and a York, German radar cruiser. That's a very deadly combo. So normally I would like to shoot the destroyer in most instances, but because of the threat that this York poses to him, which is an existential threat, we want to try and get the York off the board as much as possible. Battleships, their main counter is to enemy cruisers, okay? That's the ship class that you're most effective at defeating as a battleship player. And whenever you have good shots that are worthwhile taking at cruisers, those are the shots you want to get first and foremost. So you can see we whacked the York a moment ago, and then the follow-up from our team took him out. Now, the Fletcher getting flushed by our cruiser. The cruiser is kind of designed to defeat destroyers. Fletcher, of course, not digging, getting shot by the cruiser, so he's trying to move out here. And rather than shoot the John Bart, who we've had a shot at the entire game, we're going to once again shoot at the ships that are actually affecting the play. Okay, we had two ships aggressively pushing into A, and we either directly or indirectly eliminated both of them in conjunction with our team. That now clears the way for our destroyers to move into A and capture that. Okay, so now we're going to try and move forward a little bit here. We still want to protect A as much as possible. If that Jean Bart decides he wants to go westward, southwestward into A, then he'll be presenting broadsides to us, and we will punish that move. If he wants to sit in the back, angled like he's doing here, we don't care about it. He did shoot at us a moment ago, so we're taking the time to turn away. The Amagi has the majority of its firepower in the rear of the ship, and we want to angle away from the Jean Bart, who's the biggest threat to our ship currently. You can see we're trying to target the Hipper. The Hipper is moving away from B, though, and we want to capture and control B as the next play here, because you can see we're firmly in control of A at this point in time. Iowa, here's an opportunity where the battleships need to be looking for dealing damage against battleships. Not when they're pointing at or away from you, but when they're moving horizontally, when they're flashing the sides there. And you can see we got a decent whack. I don't know what it was, 12K, give or take. Able to punish him, didn't quite sink him there. Battleships, you always got to understand the threat is kind of the main thing. Okay, every time you pull the trigger, sometimes the thing will blow up that you're aiming at, sometimes it won't. But a lot of that is outside of your ability to control. Here's bad shot. We just shot behind the ZF6 trying to keep our destroyer alive. Was unable to do so. Probably weren't going to sink him with that shot there anyways, but we do have other friendly ships on our team shooting him, so potentially we cost our team some damage by missing that shot. That was just a bad, poorly aimed shot. ZF6, though, he's going to see the secondaries going off, and he's going to say, okay, I'm not going to deal with this. And everyone's shooting at him, ourselves included, and down goes the second destroyer. The third destroyer, rather. All the red destroyers now dead. and in domination mode that's crippling. As long as your destroyers don't go haywire and get themselves killed, and you should be able to win this match, 9 out of 10 times, right? Because now they're kind of forced to kill everyone on your team because they're not going to be able to capture bases without those destroyers. Wanted the Jean Bart. There he is. He popped up back in the map there. I think I missed it because I was focused on the Hipper trying to aim there. But we would have liked to hit the Jean Bart when he was flashing the sides there because we have the best ability to rapidly damage these battleships when we have access to the sides. When they're angled against us, then we are going to do often not very much damage. Sometimes we will do some damage, but often it's not as good as something else you could be shooting at. So another good reason to be focusing on keeping an eye on the map here. And now we got Iowa and Amagi, and checking the map, look at the Iowa. It's almost pointed directly at us. So that's not a broadside shot. It's not a shot that we're necessarily looking for, but because Jean Bart's out of range, Iowa is coming in here. He's getting low. We figure, okay, maybe we can hit him even though he's angled and do a little bit of damage here. So we've been holding the shot, looking at the Amagi on the map because he was also coming around, and I wanted to see if he was going to turn more broadside, but since he was remaining angled against us as well, then we go ahead and shoot the Iowa. Get a little bit of damage there, help contribute to him going down. But at this point in time, once again, via our position, we are protecting A, and we're projecting power into B, which up until now was under red control. And because we're helping to keep these ships away from moving into B, that allows our team to capture it. Okay, now look at all these guys on the map there. If they want to push into B now, which should be their main inclination, they all have to go to the southeast. And due to our position, and we should even be backing up a little bit here, I think we'll begin to move in that direction here, up to the northwest a little bit. But the further northwest we get, the more access to those broadsides we've got. But once again, those guys all want to go into B. They have to flash the sides. Or if they want to come down to A, potentially they also have to show the sides there. Okay, so if they want to sit here angled, well, then they can't control the caps, and we don't really care about what they're doing. Okay, we're going to still continue to shoot at them, continue to try and do damage here. I was going to wait and see if this guy was going to try and angle against those torps, hoping to catch the broadsides. It's worth it in a battleship. Due to this long reload, to if you suspect that they're about to turn, flash the sides, then go ahead and hold the shot for 5-10 seconds. Cruisers, destroyers, if you're shooting your guns, you got the reload usually to just fire the shots when they're ready to go, and then you can just, by the time you confirm whether or not they're actually going to turn or not, then you can have your next shot already loaded anyway. So once again, not the flashiest game known to man, but hopefully this is a good example of, what are we actually trying to do here. Once again, we're kind of in position in between A and B, and we're making it very difficult for them to move into both A and B, and that's what we've been doing the whole game. It's a relatively small map, so we didn't have to move forward too much, but that's kind of one of the problems you see a lot of the Battleship players have on bigger maps, is they're too far back out of the action, and they're never going to have chances to hit these broadsides. Because they really don't, have the reach into the enemy base. So A, we can fully cover. In fact, we can shoot the guys that spawn by A from this position. And B, we can also shoot into the spawn that was north of B. So we do have good coverage, even though we didn't necessarily have to move that far forward. But keeping an eye on your max firing ring, the white ring on the map, that's kind of your zone of control. Okay, anything within the white ring, you have the ability to influence what's going on with that ship. The closer it gets to you, the stronger your influence. At max range, your shots become very randomized. You're not going to hit that many. Sure, you might do some catastrophic damage from time to time, but not reliably. But the closer they get to you, the stronger your control. So you kind of want to visualize your zone of control as, yes, everything that's encompassed within your white firing ring, but the closer it gets to you, the stronger your influence. So once again, more reason to move forward. And here we can criticize this play here. Even though I was fine due to the game situation, we had C, but once we got A and B, I could single-handedly defend that from that position there. So I wasn't that concerned about moving forward, but we could have begun advancing on these guys a little bit sooner. We're going to be in a situation now where we're not going to actually fire our guns for a couple minutes, and that's always a criticizable play. If you're not shooting your guns on reload generally, then you're typically not in the right position, as a rule of thumb. There's, of course, many exceptions to that rule, but hopefully this kind of rundown, it was geared more towards newer players, which we are getting a lot of new players asking about the basics on the channel and on the questions and comments section. So I did want to address this because this is kind of something that you see very commonly, the newer battleship players kind of struggling. What am I actually supposed to be doing? Okay, and shooting battleships, when you get the shot in the broadside, go ahead and take it. But other than that, that's the least important thing you can possibly do. Shoot the cruisers, especially if they got a radar. Higher tier American, British, Russians, those are your highest priority targets because those are the biggest threats to your destroyers, which of course are the scoring piece in this strategy game. Get the cruisers off the board, protect your destroyers. If you got shots at the destroyers, go ahead and take them out. Like we did here, we actually eliminated both the destroyers. And then look on the map for the broadsides. Take those shots at the battleship, okay? Because you can do that big spike damage against the battleship players. So I think we'll trim it there. That covers pretty much everything I want to talk about. Hopefully you guys did enjoy it. And if you did, please hit the thumbs up. It does help me out quite a bit with the algorithm on YouTube. If you're new to the channel, consider subscribing. We've got lots of World of Warships coming all the time. Questions, comments, leave them below. Love to hear from you guys, and we'll see y'all later. Peace.